right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would love to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of God, and Yahweh Shai being the name of Jesus Christ. And I want to quickly touch on the prodigal son and kind of just read it and kind of go through it, explain it, and give the understanding. And Lord, one, this is edifying, exhorting, and comforting unto the nation of Israel. Let's hop right into it. So this is Luke 15 and verse number 11. It said, and he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that fall to me. And he divided unto them his living. Let me turn this down. Right. So it says, continuing on. But right, the younger of them said to his father, I'm going to read verse number 12. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that fall to me. And he divided unto them his living. So these goods is all the good things of the Most High. The wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding of the Most High. He's giving it unto this younger son. Okay. Verse number 13. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Let's look up this word, riotous living, right? Let me tap on this. Hold up. Let's copy this. Let's get a new tab. I got tabs pulled up. Hold on. New tab. Let's look up riotous living. It says marked by or involving public disorder. Okay. Uncontrollable, ungovernable, right? Lawless, wild, violent, out of control, unruly. So that's similar words that deal with riotous, right? So let's go back to Luke, the 15th chapter. 13, verse number 13. So that's what this younger son did. He took his journey into a far country, and there he wasted his substance with riotous living. And that's how he was living. This younger son was living, lawlessness. He was living in lawlessness. He was living in wickedness, man. And that's Satan, man. You see, that's Satan, right? That's how the younger son was living. He was living, wickedly, man. The Most High gave his son the goods, and he took it, and he went to a far country. He said, I got mine, I'm out, man. And this is really going into, the Israel, leaving the Most High and joining themselves unto the other nations, cleaving unto, the other nations, man. Let's go into verse number 14. It said, and when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And what did this man spend? What did the son spend? Right. Let's go to Isaiah. He spent all the wisdom, understanding of the Most High, and gave it to other nations, man. Let's go to Isaiah 55 right quick. Isaiah 55. And verse number 1. It says, ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that have no money, come ye buy and eat. Yet come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Right? And that's what the younger son, he spent all that he had. He spent the understanding, the all the wisdom of the Most High that was given unto him by the Lord. He spent it all, right? Verse number 2 says, wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and you labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. Okay? And what did the Most High say he'll do? Incline your ear, come unto me, hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. So ultimately, if we come back to the Most High, and the Most High will show mercy upon us, right? He'll have mercy. Let's go back to Luke. Luke 15 again. 15, and we left off at verse 14. And when he had spent all, we just went over what he spent, because the Most High gave this younger son the goods. The goods is the wisdom, understanding of the Most High. He spent it all, right? It says, and there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And a famine is synonymous with a destruction, judgment. The Most High began to bring judgment on them. And when you go into this, it's going into, Israel. Israel left and they want to do their own thing. And our people always do that. They always leave and try to do their own thing. Say, nah, I'm going to figure it out. I got it on my own, right? And every time we do that, the Most High begin to jack us up. He begin to punish us, right? For our iniquities. Verse number 15 says, and he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his field to feed swine. And then that's, of course, Israel, majority of Northern Kingdom join themselves unto the other nations, man, cleaving unto the idols, right? And just completely going off. It says, and he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. This is Israel returning back unto the Most High, which is known in the New Testament as the Gentiles. This is not literal Gentiles, but this is rather, Israelite foreigners, man. Israelite foreigners. This is not actual Gentiles. This is not Edomites. This is Israelite foreigners that got, broken off, and now they're coming back to the fold. They're coming back to the Most High. This is the son returning unto the Lord. Israel returning unto the Most High. Right? What's the Jews, they wasn't for that, man. The Jews wanted to keep Edom away. The Jews weren't dealing with the Samaritans at the time, right? That's why that woman said that. Why would the woman say the woman at the well say, hey, Lord, the Samaritans have no dealing with the Jews? Why would she have need to say that? Because she knew, and it was a known thing, that the Jews won't dealing with Israel, man. They won't dealing with, if you wasn't keeping the commandments, they won't dealing with you, man. Right? It says, so again, Israel, most of the Northern Kingdom, they're coming back because they feel sorry for what they did. Right? Let's get a precept. Let's go to I had a precept, Hosea 2:7. Read this whole chapter. Hosea 2:7. It says, I'll start at 5. It says, for their mother have played the harlot, she have conceived them that have done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that gave me bread and my water, my wool, my flax, my oil, and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with horns and make a wall that she should not find her paths. And this is Israel again. In the book of Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, the Most High referred to Israel as a woman, right? So this woman right here is talking about Israel. And that's what did she say? For she said, I will go after my lovers. That's what the same thing happened in Luke the 15th chapter. The son, he left and he went to go deal with the other nations. He went to go after his lovers, right? With the righteous living. I hope you brothers can understand, and sisters, right? Verse number 6, it says, therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with horns and make a wall that she should not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. Right. So that's ultimately what's going to happen. This woman, which is Israel, she left her father, right? And now she's saying what? I'm going to return to my father because my first father was better than any other lovers that I'm trying to seek. Ain't that what happened to Israel? They returned unto their father because they understood that, look, there ain't nothing more better than to be with the Most High. And the Lord was accepting the Israelites. He was accepting Israel that went off and forsook the Most High. He's now accepting them back into the fold. Right? Let's go back to Luke 15. Let's see how Ezra feel about this. Verse number 19. And am no more worthy to be called thy son, made me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. So now Israel is feeling sorry for what they did. They know they did wrong. They was living after the ways of the other nations. Serving their gods, serving Baal, right? Worshiping the sun, the moon, the stars. Going off. And they understood, like, damn, we messed up, man. We're not worthy to be called your son anymore. And they looking for Yahweh Shai to make them right with the Most High. Verse 22, but the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring head of the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. And you see that? And this is going into being spiritually dead. Our people was once spiritually dead, but now they found and they're alive, man. Because when you come back to your God-given nationality, you wake up. You begin to wake up. When you read that in the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, Lord, talk about that. Let's go there right quick. Let's get that precept. 37. Okay, this is the book of Ezekiel 37 and verse number 9. It says, Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord God, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. Now, is these people actually dead? No, they spiritually dead. They're in a spiritual sleep, right? So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army, right? And that's what happens when our people get the words of the Most High. They begin to start living, right? They come alive, right? So that's what's ultimately going on in the book of Luke, the 15th chapter. Let's go back to Luke. So it's a spiritual thing. All right, Luke 15 and 25. It says, Now his eldest son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of his servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he had received him safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And that's ultimately what happened with the Jews. The Jews was not accepting the Gentiles, the Gentiles and the foreigners. They weren't accepting them, and they was mad at Yahweh Shai. When you read up in this chapter, let's see what they said. Then drew near unto him all the publicans and sinners for to hear him. And the Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, This man receiveth sinners and eateth with them. And that's when he began to speak these parables to them, right? Because the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they was upset at the Lord, man. Why is he? Why they, trying to, mock him, trying to catch him up in his words. They was angry, all right? They weren't happy about the Lord sitting down with sinners and publicans. They weren't happy about that, right? But hey, guess what? They got to deal with it. All right. Let's continue on. Verse number 29. And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgress I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which had devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad, for this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. And that's and all praise to the Most High, because the Most High is trying to bring the Jews and the Gentiles together, man. You know, and that's why when you I forget what book it is, but the Lord said make one stick, you know, for the house of Israel and the house of Judah. You know, the Most High is bringing us back together, and ultimately when we get to the kingdom of heaven, we all gonna be together, man. You know, so Lord wants us edifying, exhorting, and comforting into the nation of Israel. And shalom, Israel, shalom.